Welcome, everyone, to San Diego Sports Talk, the John Kentera Show on YouTube. We welcome you, and we got a lot of great stuff to talk about today regarding our San Diego Padres, and we're going to talk a little bit about college football. But, boy, the Padres, how about their weekend up in San Francisco, sweeping Bob Melvin's San Francisco Giants. In fact, shut them out the first two games and then had to win the final game on Sunday in extra innings. They hung on for a 4-3 victory. Fantastic. Padres are playing great baseball, doing all the little things right now that you need to do to be a championship ball club. Padres started the day 3.5 games back of the LA Dodgers, and at our taping, the Dodgers are going to be playing Atlanta tonight. And Arizona was a game and a half back of the Padres, and we'll get you that final shortly on Arizona. But if Arizona were to lose to Milwaukee, the Padres would be 2.5 up over Arizona. Padres sitting in really good shape right now. And you take a look at their overall record. They're 20 games over 500 right now at 85-65. With the win on Sunday, they're now, believe it or not, they're 9-1 in extra inning games. Remember a year ago, they were 2-12, and they didn't win an extra inning game until really late in the season. But now 9-1 in extra innings. Their road record improves to 45-30. Month of September, they're 4 games over. They're 8-4. And how about this? Since the All-Star break, the Padres 35-16, the best record in baseball. Mike Schultz's team is doing a little bit of everything, and you got to be really excited. Padres have 12 games left. They come home on Monday night to take on the Houston Astros in 3, and then they finish up the regular season home schedule next weekend on Friday, Saturday, Sunday against the woeful Chicago White Sox. Let's take a look at the game on Sunday, Roberto Clemente Day. Game got started late. Not only were they honoring Roberto Clemente, they were also honoring the Hall of Famer Orlando Cha-Cha Cepeda, who passed away earlier this year at the age of 86. The baby bull, Orlando Cepeda. What a great career he had, and that's why he was put into Cooperstown in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And number 21, Roberto Clemente. I got to share a story with you. When I was a young boy, my uncle took me up to Dodger Stadium. And I'm sitting there, and I was so enthralled about being at Dodger Stadium, watching the Dodgers play the Pittsburgh Pirates. And, being a Padre fan, being up at Dodger Stadium, I'd never been there. And all of a sudden, about the 7th inning, a gentleman jumped out of the stands in the left field pavilion and ran across the outfield on the warning track. And he was getting pelted with everything. People were throwing, Dodger dog wrappers at him. They were throwing whatever they could at him. And he had a Pittsburgh Pirate pennant. And he ran over to right field. Roberto Clemente was playing right field. And this man knelt down in front of Roberto Clemente, planted the pennant into the ground on the stick, bowed down to Clemente, and then security took him away. That's how people thought about Roberto Clemente. And I'll tell you this, if I had an opportunity on Roberto Clemente Day to wear that number 21, I would certainly wear it. But it was a great pregame. Game got started almost a half hour late, but nonetheless, they honored 2 great Hall of Famers, Orlando Cepeda and the great Pittsburgh Pirate outfielder Roberto Clemente on Sunday. Padres out, hit the Giants on Sunday, 6-4. I mean, it was a tight ball game all the way around. And you take a look at Martin Perez. Martin Perez didn't finish the game to where he could get the win, but he pitched great. 5 innings plus 1 batter. Donovan Walton got him for a leadoff homer in the 6th, and Mike Schultz pulled him. And things were going pretty well. They were going pretty well. The Padres eventually, got the pinch hit home run from Fernando, and we're going to talk more about Fernando in a minute. But his 18th homer of the year, he was pinch hitting and drove it out of the ballpark, and he's swinging the bat really well right now. And I still think he's not anywhere close to 100%. And like I said the other day when we were talking about Fernando, I don't think he'll be 100% all year. And you can say, well, nobody at this time of year is at 100%. That's correct. But Fernando has got to navigate through this. And I really like what Mike Schultz did on Sunday. Let him sit over there. Let him be a secret weapon late in the game, and the guy delivered. And they could also not only, give him a day off here and there, but he could also jump in there as a DH occasionally. That would be fine. I know he likes to play right field, wants to be involved. But, playing right field is taxing. And the guy's been coming back from a very serious hip injury. But, man, he launched that home run. Absolutely launched that home run. And, some of the stars on Sunday, David Peralta got the go-ahead RBI in the top half of the 10th inning. Peralta not getting a lot of playing time right now. Went 2 for 4 on the day. Doing a great job. I mean, him and Solano. Solano had a rough game on Sunday, but he had 4 hits on Saturday. But Solano 0 for 5, but he drove in a run in extra innings on a little ground ball to the infield. So the bottom line, the Padres are doing what it takes, the little things. Profar had a sacrifice bunt that eventually led to Manny Machado hitting a sacrifice fly to center field. I mean, that's good stuff. That's winning baseball, folks. And that's why they're 20 games over 500 right now. They're doing all the little things. Jeremiah Estrada came in 1 inning, a couple of strikeouts. Tanner Scott, an inning, a walk, a strikeout. Jason Adam, 1 inning and a strikeout. Robert Suarez, for the second time in his last 3 opportunities, blew a save. Now, he ended up getting the win, and his record now 9-3. But Suarez, I'm concerned. I'm very concerned about Robert Suarez. He has had a great year. There's no doubt about it. But really, the last month, he has not been the same Robert Suarez. And not only that, he has been very, very predictable. I wrote down when he gave up the tying home run in the bottom of the ninth, Padres were clinging to a 2-1 lead. And Helio Ramos leads off. And Suarez comes in, first pitch fastball. Then he threw a changeup, and then he threw 5 straight fastballs. And the one that Ramos hit out, give him credit, man, he took it the other way. And at Oracle Park, hitting the ball the other way and hitting it out as a right-hand hitter is not easy. That doesn't happen very often. But it was a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Big league hitters can hit fastballs, especially when they're seeing it time and time again. Suarez has got a good changeup. Least of all, I think he does. Maybe he doesn't think he does. But he also got a slider. And you don't have to throw that slider for a strike. You can be a little bit of a show-me pitch. Get that hitter to lean and then come inside with that fastball. Ruben Niebla, they've got to get together and figure out what he's going to do, because right now he is way too predictable. Way too predictable. You can't throw fastball after fastball after fastball. You got to mix it up. And he's getting beat on his fastball. You shouldn't get beat on a 99 or 100-mile-an-hour fastball as regularly that's happening to him right now. He's got to be better in that situation. Got to be better. But nonetheless, a big win. A 7th sweep of the year for the Padres. You got to love it. And then you go back to Saturday night, 8-0. They pounded out 17 hits. They were 4 of 15 with runners in scoring position. They still left 13 runners on base. I mean, they're getting on base. I mentioned Solano, 4 for 5. He had 3 doubles. This guy has been a blessing to the Padres. He's been fantastic. A guy that knows how to play. Today he played on Sunday, he played third base. Give Manny a little time off. Manny was the DH. Fernando went 3 for 6 on Saturday night with an RBI and his 9th stolen base. And you know what? Stealing the base, that was good. That shows that he's feeling pretty good, or he wouldn't be trying to steal bases. So that was good. And then they give him the day off today. Luis Arraez, another big day, 2 for 6 on Saturday night. And by the way, he extended his hitting streak on Sunday to 13. His career high is 14. So he's going to win another batting title. He's going to win the National League batting title for a 2nd straight year the way he's swinging it right now. Been absolutely fantastic the way this guy's swinging. I mean, he's upped his average after the 2-hit game on Sunday. He's hitting 322. Other guys that had good ball games on Saturday, Manny, 2 for 5, his 28th double. Drove in 2 runs, drove in that run on Sunday. He got 98 RBIs. He's going to drive in over 100 runs this year, Manny Machado, after a slow start. Higashioka, 2 for 4. Bogarts hit his 10th homer. I mean, things are going well. Everybody's doing well. Everybody's doing well right now for the Padres. And then you take a look at Friday night, another night where they pounded the baseball. 12 hits to 4 for the Giants on Friday night. I mean, Dylan Cease went out there and mowed them down. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, 10 punch-outs. Went over the 1,000 mark in career strikeouts. That's a great feat. That's fantastic. And when this guy's right, he's their number 1 starter, but he's been so up and down. I think Michael King has been the more consistent of the two, least of all for me. But with the win on Friday night, Dylan Cease improves to 13-11 and drops his ERA down to 3.58. Offensive guys on Friday night, Luis Ariz, 3 for 4. On base 4 times, had a walk. Fernando launched a 2-run homer. Brandon Lockridge came in, never played in a big league ball game. Stole a base, scored a run, finished up in outfield, made a great catch in foul territory. He can run a little bit. Still looking for that first hit. Went 0 for 1 on Sunday. Hit a ball to center field. He'll get his hit. He's going to get some opportunity. The guy can run a little bit. He's done a really good job down in the minor leagues stealing bases. And, Manny had another big night on Friday night. 2 for 5. I mean, Manny's just wearing out the baseball. Just wearing it out. Drove in a run that night and beat up on Giant starter Logan Webb. I mean, he's one of the best in the game, folks. 4 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them were earned. A walk, 4 strikeouts. Gave up that home run to Fernando. Padres, man, they're just killing it. You know, when Donovan Walton hit that home run on Sunday, that broke up a streak of 25 scoreless innings for Padre pitching. 25. And when Walton hit that home run for the Giants, that broke up a scoreless streak for the Giants. They hadn't scored in 32 innings. That tells you how bad it's been for Bob Melvin's ball club recently. Okay, I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Grangetto's Farm and Garden Supply, serving Escondido, Encinitas, Fallbrook for over 70 years. They came into existence in 1952. And let me tell you something. You don't stay in business 7 months, let alone 70 plus years, unless you're one of the best out there. And they are. You know why I know that? Because I've been there. I've seen what they have to offer. Not only that, especially when you go early in the morning, that's where the pros go. That's where all the landscapers and people that are doing this for a living, the pros, they go to Grangetto's. If the pros are going there, why wouldn't you go there? Expert advice. They dig into your garden projects for you. They want you to be successful. And if you know any of the family members of Grangetto's, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Why is your lawn dying? I mean, your lawn shouldn't be dying. You don't want those brown spots over in the right corner of your front yard. Well, they can help you out. Maybe your irrigation system ain't working correctly. And what I'd like you to do, and the other thing about Grangetto's, they're right down my alley. And the reason for that is because I love our community. They love our community as well. Again, Encinitas, Escondido, and Fallbrook. But I want you to go to their website, grangettos.com. Go to their website. And not only do I want you to check out their website and everything they have to offer, I want you to sign up. And it just takes a matter of seconds. Sign up for their newsletter. It comes twice a month. I got mine a week ago. It just pops in your email and gives you some great gardening tips. Again, Grangetto's Farm and Garden Supply. I want you to make sure you go to their website, grangettos.com, sign up for the newsletter, and hopefully one of these days I'll run into you at the one I go to all the time in Encinitas. Grangetto's Farm and Garden Supply. All right. We got to talk about a few ball players here. We're going to talk about Ha-Seong Kim. It's gone a little bit slower, I think, than the Padres would like, and it's definitely gone slower for Ha-Seong Kim. He'd like to be back out there. And about a week ago, he was thrown from across the infield, and it just wasn't right. The strength just wasn't there yet. So they kind of shut him down for a day or two, and he was doing his rehab with the trainers and, trying to strengthen that shoulder and arm. Well, now he's back throwing. Over the weekend, he's been throwing a little bit, and I think when they get back home on Monday, he's going to try to ratchet it up a little bit. You got to get that ball from a deep shortstop with a little intensity on it. Right now, been a little bit shy on that. So we'll see how that goes, but he's back making progress. There for a while, it kind of slowed down, and they shut him down for a few days. But now he's back throwing, just playing light catch, nothing serious. But they're going to try to rev it up intensity-wise. And hopefully he'll be able to come back. But, hey, you know what? Xander's doing a great job. Xander's done a really nice job. Jackson Merrill, second straight game on Sunday where they moved him to the 5th spot in the order. And you know what? It's the right thing to do. And I'm going to tell you the reason it's the right thing to do. This kid, you look at his mental makeup. And I'm a big mental makeup guy. When I coached and when I scouted professionally for the Royals and the Marlins, I'm all about mental makeup, and this kid has incredible mental makeup, and it seems like he continues to show it day after day, week after week, and month after month. You think about how he got told, hey, you're going to move to left field this year. He goes to left field, and he's out there for 2 to 3 days. Well, they really didn't know who was going to play center field. Hey, let's slide you over to center. Let's give it a shot in center. Kid goes out there, has never gone back to left. He's been in center ever since they moved him. The guy's been fantastic. In my opinion, and again, I watch him every night. I think when I look around the National League, and there's some good outfielders, they're good center fielders. You can't be a mediocre center fielder on a major league team. But you know what? He's getting a lot of pub and deserved so. And he should be the National League Rookie of the Year, without a doubt. I know what Paul Skeens is doing. I know he started the All-Star game, but his team's in last place. And Jackson Merrill, the Padres wouldn't be where they're at without Jackson Merrill. I mean, 20-plus home runs, 80-plus RBIs, made the All-Star team. This guy's been amazing. But they finally moved him to the number 5 spot. And what I wanted to say about that, a lot of rookies, you wouldn't do that. You'd let him sit there where he's been comfortable all year, hitting, 6th, 7th in the lineup. But Cronenworth's not swinging the bat very well. And he hasn't swung the bat really all that well the last couple of months. And his power is kind of eroded. I mean, he'll get a double here and there, but he's not driving the ball out of the ballpark the way he was earlier in the year. So Merrill, I don't think is going to put extra pressure on himself by moving to the 5th spot and moving Jake down to number 7. I think that was a much-needed move, in my opinion. I was a little surprised it took as long as it did. But you know what? You don't want to ruffle feathers of a veteran guy like Jake Cronenworth, who's played some good baseball for you this year. Ball players have egos, if you didn't know it. They have egos. And I think this is a good move. I don't think it's going to put any more pressure on Jackson Merrill, and I think it may take some pressure off of Jake Cronenworth, the way I'm seeing it. All right, I want to talk about Joe Musgrove. And again, I'm a big Joe Musgrove fan, mentally tough, wants to be out there, wants to live up to that $100 million contract Peter Seidler and the Padres gave him. He missed the last part of last year, been in and out early in the year with injuries, but he's come back and been so good. Since the IL stint, 7 starts since coming back, 3-1 with a 2.37 ERA over 38 innings. And the thing that I really like, Dennis Lin, who's a good friend of mine from The Athletic, who, by the way, is a really good writer. I don't know how many of you subscribe to The Athletic, but he's a really good writer. And Joe, in a recent article, said to Dennis Lin, this is the most fun he's had playing baseball ever. Now, you think about that. Joe Musgrove was on that team a few years back with the Houston Astros when they won the World Series. He got a World Series ring. And he's saying right now he's having more fun now than he's ever had playing baseball. And that says a lot about the chemistry on this ball club that we continue to talk about. So Joe Musgrove, another fantastic outing over the weekend against the Giants. 6 shutout innings. That was after he got cuffed around pretty good last week when he gave up those 6 earned runs and 3 homers in that 4th inning after he retired the first 10 batters. Okay, I want to talk a little bit, and I don't want to necessarily put the cart before the horse, but these are things that A.J. Preller, Mike Schilt, and Ruben Niebler are navigating right now. Where we're at, 12 games to go, you're sitting in pretty good shape right now regarding the wild card. Who's going to be the starter in game 1, game 2, and game 3? And I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this right now because things change. A guy's got a sore shoulder. Needs an extra day. But for me right now, I think they would probably go Cease, King, and Musgrove. We'll see how Darvish comes along. He's starting Monday night. But I think right now, from what I've seen, and we'll see how it factors in the final few starts of the year, I might go with Michael King, Dylan Cease, and Joe Musgrove. Because like I said earlier, and I've said this for a while, and I think it's been proved out, there's no doubt Dylan Cease has the best stuff on the staff. There's no argument there. And when he's on, he just mows through hitters. Okay? But Michael King, it's just been more consistent. And for me, I would probably go with the more consistent guy. The other thing that may factor in is who you're playing. What kind of success has King had against that team this year compared to Dylan Cease? That definitely would factor in. And Musgrove would be my number 3 guy right now. But that stuff we'll continue to talk about as we get a little bit closer to the playoffs. But man, Padres 6 home games this coming week. Then they go on the road. 2 big series against the Dodgers. Man, the Dodgers are having their problems. They're having their problems on the field. They're having a lot of problems on their pitching staff. They got 12 starting pitchers on the IL. Tyler Glasnow reported over the weekend not coming back. Not coming back this year. Gone. So right now, they basically have Jack Flaherty and Yamamoto. They'd be their number 1 and number 2 guys. And after that, who knows? Might be bullpen by committee. They spent all that money, and they're running out of starting pitching. Nobody's feeling sorry for them, I can tell you that. Padres are sitting in good shape. Not only are the Padres sitting in good shape right now with 3-4 good starters, and Perez can help out of the bullpen, they got a lights-out bullpen. They got to get Suarez squared away, though. They got to get him squared away. I wanted to mention Ethan Salas, a young 18-year-old kid down in Fort Wayne. Their season's over. And the reason, number one, I think this kid's got a chance to be really special. And his offensive numbers were brutal this year. Absolutely brutal. He's 18 years of age. He's playing high A ball. And from what I gather, offensively, it was a struggle. He did show some power. There's no doubt about it. But, the kid ended up hitting 206 in 412 at-bats. I mean, that's a pretty good sample size, I would say. The reason I'm bringing him up right now is because I've had some people send me messages and ask me about Ethan. When I've watched him play, I like his swing. There's a lot to like about this kid. And I think behind the plate, he was fine. Good catch and throw guy. And he's going to continue to learn and grow. He's 18 years of age. And, I know a lot of people thought, well, maybe when the Padres signed him and he was ballyhooed, oh, he'll be up here at the end of 2024. Well, let's get real. He's not going to be up here at the end of 2025. The kid's 18 years of age. It's going to take a while, folks. I don't want to ruin this kid. This kid's got a chance, I think, to be really good. He doesn't even have anywhere close to his man strength yet. Now, listen to his numbers. He, again, played in Fort Wayne, the Midwest League. That's high A ball now. 111 games he was in. And that was a combination of, pinch hitting, catching, DHing a little bit, but 412 at-bats. Hit 206 with a 288 on-base percentage. Dismal, absolutely. But you know what? He had 27 doubles, so you see some strength there. 2 triples, 4 home runs, 53 RBIs. Right now, he's a doubles guy. And that's fine. He had a 599 OPS, which isn't good. He struck out 98 times in 412 at-bats. He'll get better. He walked 47 times. And again, I mentioned the 288 on-base percentage. He's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. And I think when you look at his numbers, he got wore down. He got off to a start in April. He had 64 at-bats at 219, and then he went into a real tailspin. He hit 189 and 94 at-bats in May, 74 at-bats in June, hit 189. July, 60 at-bats, 200. And then in August, it looked like he was starting to make strides. In 98 at-bats, he hit 255. That's good. Because prior to that, he hadn't hit higher than 219 the first few months. And then he hit the wall in September. And you know what? Everybody hits the wall. When they haven't gone through it, they hit the wall. In 22 at-bats, he hit 136. You know what? The kid's going to be fine. Get into the weight room, do the conditioning, do everything you need to do to get better, and this kid's going to be a fine ball player. He's going to be a fine ball player. Don't get down on him yet. In 2 seasons so far, in 666 at-bats, he's hitting 222 with 13 homers and 94 RBIs. Okay, and that's a combination of 4 different levels. But don't give up on Ethan Salas. But I'm going to tell you this. It's going to be very interesting this offseason to see what the Padres do behind the plate. We know about Camposano getting sent down to AAA. He's going to be arbitration eligible for the first time. Kyle Higashioka going to be a free agent. You got Elias Diaz, who really hasn't found his stride offensively with the Padres. Now that he's going to start getting a little more consistent playing time, I think you'll see him, get his timing back. He spent, pretty much a month out of the big leagues almost, and when he came to the Padres, wasn't getting a lot of play. He's going to be a free agent. So it'd be interesting to see what the Padres are going to do behind the plate for next year. Okay, I want to tell you about another one of our great sponsors. I get a smile on my face because one of the gentlemen involved with this company, YourReliableHomebuyers.com, used to work with me. And he was a smart guy. He got out of radio. He making big money. He making big money. You know why? Because he does the job. He gets the job done along with his staff and all the people involved with YourReliableHomebuyers.com. Comprehensive real estate services, reliable home buyers. They offer full spectrum of real estate services. And that gentleman's name is Josh Messiah. Great guy. And he cares about you folks out there. And again, expertise and reliability, 23 years plus of experience in the real estate market. Cash offer for old houses. Need to sell your old house quickly? Contact Reliable Home Buyers today for expert guidance and seamless transactions. Give them a call today, folks. And even if it's a Sunday, give them a call. They'll get right back to you Monday morning, or call them tomorrow morning. 858-422-4116, 858-422-4116, or you can visit them at YourReliableHomebuyers.com. You want to be a first-time buyer, or you need to sell your house quickly for cash? Get a hold of YourReliableHomebuyers.com and do it today. Okay, folks, we got to get to the breakdown of the Houston Astros. They're coming to town for a big 3-game series Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Houston Astros have won 4 straight. They swept the Angels over the weekend, 3 straight. They come to town first place in the AL West with an 81-68 record after a very, very slow start. Of course, we know about their great second baseman, probably a Hall of Famer, Jose Altuve, 301, 19 dingers right now, 63 RBIs, 21 stolen bases. I think one of the best hitters in baseball, Yordan Alvarez, man, big, strong guy. You don't want to mess with this guy. He got 34 dingers already this year, 84 RBIs, hitting 308. Kyle Tucker, an outstanding outfielder, hitting 265 with some power. Alex Bregman, they got a good young catcher in Yanier Diaz, hitting 301 with 16 bombs and 81 RBIs. And they got a great young shortstop who came on the scene a couple of years ago when they won the World Series, Jeremy Pena. I mean, Houston brings a heck of a ball club to San Diego, and they're a fun team to watch. Not an Astros fan in any way, shape, or form, but they are a very, very talented team. Okay, the pitching matchups for the 3 games. Monday night, Petco Park, 640. You got right-hander Spencer Arrighetti, 7-12 and a 4.72, going against Padre right-hander Yu Darvish, 5-3 and a 3.52. Tuesday at Petco at 640. Young right-hander Hunter Brown, 11-8 and a 3.59, going against right-hander Michael King, 12-9 and a 3.06. And Wednesday at Petco Park, another one of those 340 starts. Kind of odd to me. But, hey, the Padres get an off day on Thursday, but they play at 340 on Wednesday, the final game of the series. And what a matchup this is. If you don't have tickets yet for Wednesday's game, you better make sure you get them. How about this matchup? Houston sending left-hander Framber Valdez, 14-6 and a 2.91 to the hill against Padre right-hander Dylan Cease, 13-11. And a 3.58. Man, that's going to be a heck of a game. And then you've got, again, off day Thursday, and then the just an awful baseball team, the White Sox, come to town. I mean, Padres got to sweep them. They're brutal. They're absolutely brutal. That's an embarrassment. Absolute embarrassment. Okay, before we get out of here, we got to talk a little bit about college football. And we're going to talk about San Diego State. And I'm not going to get into them going to the Pac-12. I'm going to talk about that later this coming week because they're going to be more and more come out. There was even a rumor over the weekend that Stanford and Cal are going to look to get out of the ACC after 2 years. Well, I got news for you. They could probably get out, but they're going to have to pay a lot of money. It's just like San Diego State. They're going to have to pay, along with Fresno State, Colorado State, and Boise State, they're all going to have to pay $18 million a school to get out. Okay. And the ACC, I'm sure they've got the same thing in their contracts, but, you know, Cal and Stanford, do their kids really, I don't think the kids want to go all the way to play in the ACC. I'm certain they don't. But there are rumors that they would be headed back for the 2026-2027 academic school year when the Pac-12 will get back together. And I think they've got to have at least 8 to have a legitimate conference, according to the NCAA, but I think they'll try to get as many as 12. We'll have to wait and see. So I'll talk more about that as we move a little bit closer. I'm going to mention that USC had a bye this weekend. They're 2-0. Next Saturday, they're going to be at the Big House to take on Michigan. Michigan's sitting at 2-1 right now. USC 2-0. That'll be a heck of a ball game. Looking forward to that. UCLA in a total rebuild. They got welcomed to the Big Ten in a big way on their home field on Saturday at the Rose Bowl. Indiana came out and pounded the Bruins 42-13. They rolled up 430 total yards. UCLA 238 total yards. I'm going to say this. Chip Kelly set UCLA back a number of years. Deshaun Foster is going to have to sit there and take a beating for a while. And the reason for that, Chip Kelly just didn't really do a great job of recruiting. And he bails out late. He bails out and goes to Ohio State as an offensive coordinator. Why would a veteran coach like Chip Kelly jump out of UCLA and go take an offensive coordinator's job at Ohio State? You know why? Because he did a poor job and knew he was going to get fired. And now Deshaun Foster, who was a loyal assistant to Chip Kelly, takes over, gets his opportunity. They're going to have a terrible year. They're going to be awful. They're going to be absolutely awful. And Indiana, who's Indiana? No offense to you Hoosier fans out there, but they're not exactly a football juggernaut. And that's going to be a tough year for Deshaun Foster and the Bruins. They got to hit the recruiting trail big time. Okay, we got to talk about San Diego State. And the good thing for San Diego State, they got to bye this coming week. And then they go on the road and they got to play at Central Michigan on Saturday, September 28th. I watched the game on Saturday night. I was encouraged in the first half just because the defense kept the game close, 7-3. Cal was leading. And then Cal came out and, really mowed the Aztecs down in the second half, beat them 31-10. Aztecs are 4-5 all-time against Cal, but 0-5 in Berkeley. And they're 4-0 in San Diego. I remember calling some of those games. But right now, and I said this last week after they got shut out by Oregon State, it's a work in progress. Don't judge Sean Lewis. Don't even begin to judge him. But I will tell you the one thing I'm upset about. And I think Sean Lewis is trying to address it. I saw Marquise Cooper, running back. He got a 15-yard penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct, I think. And he's going to be disciplined for it. But Coach Lewis said he's going to discipline himself too. They're going to do ups and downs together. But the thing, San Diego State can't afford to make mistakes. Hey, you're going to miss a tackle. You're going to throw an interception. You're going to fumble the football. But you can't keep committing these penalties. I mean, this is undisciplined football. And you know how you get guys away from undisciplined football? You sit their ass over on the bench. That's what you do. And let them sit there. It's like a basketball player who, is not getting the job done or getting beat on defense or not playing team ball. The best way to get through to guys and gals for that matter is grabbing some pine. And I want to tell you the first 3 games, and I've watched all 3 games, the Texas A&M Commerce game. That was the game where they trailed at halftime 6-3, and then they came out and, scored 42 second points and, blew them out. They absolutely blew them out. But they had 16 penalties in that game for 149 yards. Against good teams, you're not going to win. And then against Oregon State, that game was tight until the fourth quarter. They were down 7-0 going into the fourth quarter. They got beat 21-0. They had 8 penalties for 80 yards in that game. And then on Saturday night up in Berkeley, they had 15 more penalties for 120 yards. Are you kidding me? Especially when you're on the road, you can't commit those penalties. You keep the crowd involved in the game, and they had a good crowd. They had over 35,000 watching the California Golden Bears roll to the victory and go to 3-0 on the year. So far in 3 games, San Diego State, I mean, this is ridiculous. 39 penalties for 349 yards. Are these the San Diego State Raiders? That's the way the Raiders under Al Davis used to play, getting penalty after penalty for clotheslining guys, hitting guys out of bounds. But these are offside penalties, false start penalties. I mean, you can't have it, folks. And I realize the Aztecs are trying to rebuild their football program. They really are trying to rebuild it. And it certainly didn't help on Saturday that Danny O'Neal, their freshman quarterback, was over on the sideline in street clothes, and they had to go with a youngster, a redshirt freshman. I'll tell you, the young man Javance Tupuata Johnson, he grew up right down the road from Berkeley. I'm glad his family got to come. And, his numbers weren't great. I mean, they weren't great at all. He was 13 of 29, 156 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. But you know what? That kid went out there and flat out competed. And I respect the hell out of him. And I don't know if he'll end up getting another opportunity. I don't know how long Danny O'Neill's going to be out. But one thing I found out about Mr. Johnson, the guy's a competitor, man. He took some shots, but he was trying to make some plays happen. And you know what? If he ends up not being a quarterback at San Diego State, I think there's another spot he could play. He could be a receiver, maybe even play on the secondary somewhere down the road. But he wants to be a quarterback. And you know what? He could have left. He could have left San Diego State. He's one of the guys that stayed. I've talked about how 42 guys left the San Diego State football program. This kid stayed, and he believed in himself, and he got an opportunity. And you know what? He'll do better next time out. And again, we're not getting any information out of San Diego State regarding Danny O'Neill. Hopefully he's going to be able to come back with a bye week, and he can start that game on the road at Central Michigan. But Tupuata Johnson, that's a tongue twister. He competed his ass off, and I respect the young man a great deal. And Jordan Napier, redshirt freshman, caught that touchdown, 40 yards, great run, had 2 catches, 53 yards. Marquise Cooper, 22 carries, 87 yards. There are some positives, and I think the defense is pretty good. I think the defense just got wore down. But the Aztecs, they go into their bye week with a 1-2 record, licking their wounds. Central Michigan, the Chippewas, Dick Enberg's alma mater. They'll be a tough road foe for the Aztecs, no question about it. So there we have it. But hey, at the end of the day, Padres started today 3.5 games up on the Dodgers. We'll see what happens because we're taping this prior to the Dodger-Atlanta game. And the Padres had a 1.5 game lead on Arizona, pending their outcome against Milwaukee. But at the end of the day, the Padres, with 12 games to go, are the number 1 wild card right now in the National League. And they're coming off just a marvelous sweep of the San Francisco Giants. Think about this. They played 18 innings between Friday and Saturday. Padres shut them out for both those games. And then the Giants scored 3 runs on Sunday, one of them in the Manford Man run that they scored in the bottom of the 10th that ended up, coming up 1 run short against the Padres. So the bottom line, Padres in 28 innings over the weekend against the Giants allowed 2 earned runs. And they'll be back home Monday night to take on the Houston Astros. It ought to be a very entertaining series. And again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to San Diego Sports Talk, the John Kentera Show. Again, you can follow me on Facebook at John Kentera, and you can also follow me on X at Coach Kentera 44. Until next time, have a great week, everyone, and let's keep rolling, Padres. I'm looking forward to the postseason this year. Bye-bye.